Hello my lovelies, welcome to my channel and my art studio. I am Mrs. B, your Catholic art teacher. Last week, boys and girls, you did this Bible verse reflection, which was your day and night, your hand was heavy upon me. Psalm 31 verse 4. Day and night, your hand was heavy upon me. And boys and girls, I was really impressed, and I want to thank Miss Remy in a very special way for speaking to you all so that I would get your cooperation. And I really want to thank her. God bless her. And yeah, I was really satisfied with the children, with your output, and I hope that you will continue sharing your work. So this week, boys and girls, we are going to be painting freestyle. That means without any drawing. We're going to be doing it freehand. So let's get started. First of all, we need our paper, and we're going to be reflecting on this Bible verse. It says, "My flesh is afflicted." So boys and girls, it's Psalm 37 verse 8, and it is a penitential psalm. It's the third penitential psalm. And although we are talking about when we read the psalm, it's mostly about ourselves, for us to confess our sins, for us to examine ourselves and make reparation for our sins. I decided to take it at a different angle. My flesh is afflicted. And so when I hear those words, I think of the crucified Lord. And so, boys and girls, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint freehand the crucified Lord. So I'm going to draw freehand, take some very light paint, so that if there's any mistakes you can correct it. So you take a very light yellow or orange, very light, lightly paint a depiction of this at an angle. So we have the cross coming down like this. Okay, and we're going to have the cross going this way like that, boys and girls. So let's just wet our paintbrush again and just get this right. So we're having the figure of Jesus crucified on the cross. But we're doing this at an angle. We are looking from below. We are actually standing below and looking up and meditating on this. So boys and girls, I'm going to let this dry and I'll get back to you. So boys and girls, you can see the cross very faintly painted. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to get light brown that I have had already mixed from last week, and I just have it there. So I'm going to reactivate it, boys and girls, and add some more water. Actually, let me just spray some water in there so that it will be a very light color. So I'm going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do, boys and girls, I'm going to draw the head of Jesus. So it's going to have, wait a minute, we are from down, so we're going to have his head like this. And we're going to have, we have to be very strategic with where we place our lines, boys and girls, because if we don't, we're going to end up
not having a correct depiction. So let me just show you. This is the eye. This is the nose. Okay, this is the nose. You have to be very careful. And this is the mouth. We're looking from down below. And we're going to have the beard coming down like this. This is the crown of thorns. We're doing this really light because we're doing it light so that any mistakes can be rectified. So this is it. The eye, the nose is right here, like that, on the eye, and then we have the mouth coming this way, and the beard, and we're gonna have the hair coming down. Okay, his head is slightly turned, and we're gonna have that's his neck, so his neck's like this. Okay, and we're gonna have his arm going like this. Okay, and his other arm going up here, and it's going to reach around here. So this is how we're going to have the arm. Remember, we're looking from down below, so this part of his body is going to be exaggerated in the sense that it looks very big. So this is his hand, and it's going out, and this one is, we can see it within. So this is the hand like that. Okay, and we're gonna have because his hand's up, you're gonna see his rib cage like this. I'm gonna get his rib cage more coming here like that. And then we're going to have the rib cage and the under part of the arm. Let's continue this drawing. I hope you're with me. The under part of his arm going like this, and we're going to continue. Last week I saw Shikonte's work, and I spoke to his teacher. I really am impressed with Shikonte, and I wish that he keeps up that good work, because he has a lot of potential. And I saw Brittany's work. I was really happy to see it. And Amaya did this amazing artwork of a portrait that of her own. But I told her I'd really like to see the work that I give her. You know, we all like to do what we like, but then sometimes we have to do, because when you go to art college, you wouldn't be doing what you want. You have to be doing what you are given. So, yeah, I just want you all to be prepared for that, boys and girls. So, yeah, so that is that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll get back to you. So there it is, nice and dry, boys and girls. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some dark, like black, for the dark parts of this painting, so we can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead, we're going to have the eye, so we're going to just put this line here, and then we're going to have maybe that's part of his hair. We'll just leave that like that. Then we're going to have the nose. I think where I put the nose is pretty good, and then the mouth, we're just gonna put the mouth so that we can see it better. And bottom part, and then yeah, I think that's good so far. And then we're going to just have the ear like that, so that it's a cross one. And then above the head we're going to put the crown. thorns like that. We want to show the spikes. We want to show how his flesh was afflicted in so many different ways and angles. Just imagine a very sharp thorns piercing in your skin. You know, it must have been so painful, and yet he endured it. And I'm going to go ahead and put the neck there. He's going. I want with a very light. So I'm going to add water, not white, water, so that I can maybe get the lightest version. So because I want to show under the chin, and the chin is like this. So I just want to show that like that, like that, just to show his beard and stuff. And then his neck line is coming down like that. Good. And I'm going to have you're going to have a line like this, and then you're going to have this part of his shoulder going this way. And I'm going to go ahead and do this side, and then so that it will look proper. It will look like it's so I'm just gonna, you know, I want it to look not out of proportion, shall we say. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the dark parts. It's really important. So I may have to, this may have to come like this, and the rib part, you know, just to emphasize the rib. And then okay, I think I would like to add a shade going down under this way, so I'm going to just add that like that, just like that. And then I want to add a little shadow under the arm, so it's going to go like that. Maybe it can go a little more deeper like that. And then the same thing on that side. Alright, so boys and girls, let me just go over some of the lines, because I really want to emphasize some of the lines there. And I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll get back to you. So I'm just gonna go over some parts of Jesus' body that needs to be emphasized a little bit more. Let me just okay, and yeah, I want to emphasize his jaw, the bone, to show that I'm looking at him from down. So we have his muscle. You know, you just have to imagine that he's been stretched, and you know, boys and girls, it was really awkward they even dislocated his hands when they were nailing him to the cross, and boys and girls. So he was in a lot of pain. Our Lord Jesus Christ was in a lot of pain. So yeah, I want to show that the best that I can, and I'm going to go ahead and yeah, I'm going to do the other arm, okay, so that it looks like it's okay. So this comes out of his hand. This is at an angle, boys and girls, so we have to get the angle right. And I have that going like this. So I think I've got it, and then the part of his, as his rib case, going this way, going down. Okay, what I want to do, I want to take the this part of his lips, and I'm going to take it out because I made that line a little too long. So if there's anything that you wanted to remove, you just go ahead and you wet it like that, and then you add a color to it. So you dry and then you add a color to it. So the color would be, in this case, the complexion, so the brown color. So we're trying to get this brown to just go over this area here. And boys and girls, I also want you to know that Jesus was bruised. So his eyes look like, you know, it's been bruised because of the beating that he, you know, they slapped him, they hit him with all kinds of objects, and so his face is so brutally damaged that some, you know, his face was deformed because of it. So I'm just going to go ahead. I want to add a little bit more shading up here like that, so that we can clearly see that it's the nose, like that. So let me just, the mouth is supposed to come more up here, so let me just wash that off and dry it so that I can get the correct position of the mouth. So this is the way, I'm just showing you live right now how we can fix our mistakes. So I washed it, and right now I'm going to leave it to dry, and then I'm going to add the new lines and then the brown color for different shading and highlights. So it's dried now, boys and girls, so we are going to see how we can fix his face by bringing up the mouth a little bit higher, and it would be about here. I would bring up the mouth. It was a little too low for at this stage. So yeah, so I want to add that to the cheek and stuff. Then yeah, I want the mouth to be like this. Bring it up a little bit like that. I'm adding some brown to it so it's not too dark, and I'm just going to bring down this beard that's going to make it look a let me just blot it off with a nice white clean rag that I have here. So I'm just going to blot it out so that it doesn't appear to be too dark. Okay, and we're going to add a little bit of that here for the here. Okay, so yeah, right now I'm going to let this dry and then I'll get back to you. So boys and girls, I added some more marks in his face, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some white. I really need some white to add highlights. So got that too, and I'm going to go ahead and fix some areas in the face. I noticed that if we're looking from down below, I'm seeing too much of his forehead, so I'm going to bring the what's it called? His crown of thorns. I'm going to bring it a little. I'm lowering it, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take some black, and I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. So the crown of thorns will be coming down all the way here. Actually, I want it to show that the crown of thorns is actually here, like that. So that's the crown of thorns right there. It begins. So it's okay. So I want it very much to show that that's where it begins. The crown of thorns right here, and it's going all the way down like that. Okay, and I'm just going to add a little line here, and what I want to do is add some highlights under the neck, so he has his neck up a little bit, so I'm going to add that highlight right there. I'm going to add it again so that we can see that's his neck part, like that. Alright, and I'm going to add some white here and white on the nose. I hope I'll be able, well, when it dries we'll be able to see if it worked. And I want a little bit of highlight on the cheek area. We're going to add some more. So yeah, that's basically what I want to do. I want to, right now, I want to add brown. So I just want to add some skin tone. And yeah, just shows a little bit of light here and there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let it dry and I'll get back to you. So I'm going to go back and add some highlights to the areas that I want to emphasize. So this was one that I really wanted to emphasize. I want this part like that. I also want to have the going down here and coming back up like that, and perhaps get some of this here and this jawbone. I need emphasize that jawbone like that. And then I'll add some brown. Like this. Yeah, I'm just going to add some so that we can see. And that's his hair going down like that. Okay. We can't see any of the top part of his hair, but that's okay. You know the hair is disheveled. So boys and girls, as you can see, I had to work this image, giving it a lot of layers and leaving it to dry. And I've had a lot of darks, and I had to erase some of the lines that I had put before so that I could get the proportions more accurate. So I'm going to go ahead now with the cross, which I'm going to paint in a brown mix with, I want to make it a little different, so I'll add a little bit of red to it. So I'll add this red to the brown to make it a little bit more different. Wash my paintbrush so I can take it, because I think my paintbrush is a little contaminated. And so we're going to have a brownish, reddish tint to our paints, to our brown that we have here. So I beg your pardon, I should have brought it here for you to see. But it's like a reddish brown color. So I'm going to go ahead now, boys and girls, and I'm going to do the cross. So I'm going to start from here, and so I'm going to have this cross going all the way down to here, maybe. And yeah, just add some, just paint it along, right there, and then I'm going to draw going across Jesus' head like that. We're going to have the side of the cross going here, and it's going to reach about here. So we're going to just paint that through like that. Yeah, so that you can see this cross goes that way. And we're going to continue all the way along this line like that. Just get my paintbrush with some water and some paint, and I'm just going to go ahead with that. And then, boys and girls, I am going to add another layer, but this time I'm going to add some black to it. So I'm going to add some black and add this to it, so that I will get a tint of this brown to put on this, so that it looks a little 3D, you know, just a little bit. So just draw a line going across here like that, and gonna have a line going down here, it doesn't matter. And yeah, the same thing goes across here at the end. Okay, the cross going like that. I want it to look like it's straight line. Okay, I just want to make sure that this line doesn't cross over the hair. On his head, and then just add a little bit of this, like a shadow over the background of it. So that's the cross, boys and girls. I think I'm quite pleased with it, yeah, that is fine like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave it to dry, and I'll get back to you to do the final background. So boys and girls, I'm just going to remove this a little bit, make it a little lighter so that it looks like it's part of this muscle going up like this. I really need to do that. So I'm going to get a rag and just dab at it right there so I can see that it's a continuation. The line is continuing. So I just want to do that. And then I'll be happier. Yeah, I think so. I think that works a little bit better. So I'm just going to take a little bit out from here too. And just try to get it to look a bit, yeah, I think that's looking a lot better. And lastly, I'm going to add a grey background because although Jesus died, he actually died at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was darkness. It became dark that day, that afternoon when he died on the cross. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and just make this, and just dab that to make it a bit, I didn't want it too dark. And then we'll add the grey here. And I just want to continue this grey here. So just dab as we add in, we dab in like that. And then the last one, just add this part here, like that. And then, yeah, I just want to dab that in part as well. And so there it is, boys and girls. I'm going to let it dry and then I'll conclude this video. There you are, boys and girls. Psalm 37 verse 8. My flesh is afflicted. And I can't wait to see yours, boys and girls. Please share with me when we meet after class. You share your work. And I can't wait to see your work. God bless you. Have a great week. And don't forget to keep praying and meditating on meditating on the passion of Jesus Christ. Bye-bye.